Hi everyone, this is Christine from Beacons of Light, and I'm very excited to introduce to you Simone, who is an actor and a voice over artist and a public speaking coach. So together we had a great conversation before and I had a great experience with her transmitting, the messages of the divine. So let's all welcome Simone. Welcome Simone.
Hi, Christine. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. So, my first question for you, Simone, is that so how did you start activating your gifts as a in this field of transmitting the messages from the divine?
Mm. Well, before I answer, I just want to say I'm also excited because I said to you before I don't have any script, so we
Yes.
are flying free together.
Yes.
Uh, I would say that from around 1 years old, I was seeing a homeopath,
Okay.
and he was very tuned in. He looked like a magical white wizard, and he said to my mum, there's something very heightened in Simone's sensitivity. She's picking up things around the world energetically, and this is something that will need to be mastered or it can have its flip side effect. So I would say from very young.
I see. So yeah, so tell me, when did this really like start with you? Like, what were the messages that you received that really allowed you to understand that this is something that's important to be shared and seen and heard?
Hmm. Well, a week before 9/11,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was walking beneath a huge grey cloud. I myself felt fine. There was nothing that I could attest it to. It was just this dense, dense energy that I was picking up, but I didn't know what it was about.
Okay.
And the moment I turned on the news and saw, I had this huge cry and huge release. And my heart was so sad for the suffering I was seeing, but that density in my body just left instantly.
I see.
And before the COVID thing, I said to my husband, you know that thing I shared with you about 9/11? Well, I'm feeling it again, but it feels a hundredfold and it feels like it will be global. And the long effects feel so much stronger. Again, I couldn't name what it was, but there was something going on that I was picking up energetically.
Mm.
And there were a few other incidents, including our house being struck by lightning, and I was the only one home, and 12 appliances blew.
Wow.
And I think something happened in my circuitry, and I just felt like it was the divine God, whatever we call that, doesn't matter, but that sense of something greater, that
Mm.
creative force, that creative energy was saying to me, pay attention
Mm-hmm.
and start to honor this that you have. You don't understand it fully yet, but start to honor it. And I don't think I had before. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I understood it or was
Mm.
ready to. We find things when in divine timing.
Yes.
And when I said yes, it was amazing. It was just so many resonances and connections and including you, all these beautiful heart seeds were being scattered and planted, and suddenly shoots were popping up saying, let's co create, let's. And it was like this, I call it the frequency was amplifying. And so, yes, this is the field. Rumi has beautiful words. I know so much is transmitted between and through words, beyond
Mm-hmm.
words, that
Yes.
energetic silence that is so loud. But Rumi's words speak to my favorite quote, and it says, "Art beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there."
Mm.
And so that's my wish, is just to meet everyone in the field. And for those who don't know the field, introduce them to it just by me being in the field. So,
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Simone. Well, so in this field that you have tapped into, what is the current message or the now moment message that you can share to humanity?
mm, wow. I feel like the world is shifting. I feel like we are coming into the new, and it's mysterious. There is no map, and that's the beauty of it. It's alive, it's spontaneous, and we almost find it as our feet touches the earth. So our next step is shown. So I don't have words other than I feel very strongly, certainly in my being, that it's a time for love and peace. There's been so much war and sides, divisive sort of narratives the last few years, I've noticed in particular. And for me, the greatest joy has been in coming to the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And there's safety and a sense of certainty in the riverbanks, but it's rigid and it's a kind of clinging, whether it's beliefs or ideas or concepts. And it's only when we can sort of let go and hop into that flow of the river that that joy and spontaneity and next steps reveal itself. But I believe it's really through love. There's been enough fighting,
Mm.
and I always used to say that when we focus on our differences, we have war, and when we focus on our shared humanity, we have a chance for peace.
Right. Well, how can you shift like for somebody so new in the field, or somehow they sense that there's something beyond their normal life. Can you share to me what does it feel like, and what can you do so you can be in that field that you're saying?
It's so interesting that you say, "What can you do?" Because I think we are so tuned to doing.
Yeah.
It's actually doing less and being more to get there. And what do I mean by that? We're
Mm-hmm.
so conditioned to fiddle or look at or investigate our stuff, which we all have, but it's actually almost counterintuitive to that. It's practiced relaxation, just for short split moments, pressing pause. And yeah, often when you talk to people about that, there's this spontaneous sigh or big breath that comes in. It's really fascinating. And so it's a practice. Sometimes I call it stillness in motion, which is kind of funny. It's an acronym for my name, my nickname, Sim.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
but it's actually, and funnily enough, a lot of the work I've done in the public speaking space, a lot of people come for techniques or
Mm-hmm.
add-ons or layering on, and we look at things like projection, articulation, resonance, diction. But in actual fact, the most profound work happens when we remove what we think we need to add, or we don't get in the way. And then
Mm-hmm.
this natural resonance comes out, this natural voice,
Mm-hmm.
where people are looking for their true voice. It's actually always there, just through our lives and our stories and our conditioning. Layers get put on. So to get to this field, I don't think is a doing. I think
Yes.
it's practicing being, practicing just a tiny moment of whether it's imagining a pebble falling into the heart and sinking down into the heart from the head, or I call it an energy elevator, where we live in the penthouse a lot in the head and we take the elevator down to the heart floor.
Yeah, I felt that.
And yeah, and I'm using a lot of words to describe, but you actually become so acquainted with silence, and it speaks more loudly than any words can. It's coming to a stillness, a place of inner rest. And that can be like a new fun practice. I say to people, how many sips of coffee or tea do we have in the day? And then
Yes.
how many sips of rest? We're not conditioned to do that because, we're told it's inactive or it's lazy or it's boring. But it's actually everything. And all the answers we seek through the mind and through our intellect are all available when
Right.
we are able to drop into that space, whether it's the heart space, as I said, and I know you talk a lot about.
Yes.
But again, it's the middle. I talked about the river.
Mm-hmm.
I have a funny story if I can share.
Yes, go ahead.
I was at a networking event,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working out where to put my name tag.
Okay.
And I was doing I do accents, and I was like, oh, that's favoritism. Oh, so is that favoritism. Working out, which side, where. And this man came up and saw me. I was like in this one woman show going on here, and he said, you must pick a side. The middle
Mm.
is dangerous.
Ah!
Choose a side in an accent. And I said, yeah, we were always told that, weren't we? But I have never experienced more joy and spontaneity and flow than I have when I'm swimming in the middle of the river. And so, in honor of that, I put my name tag right here. And it
Mm.
was amazing. He just had this sigh that I mentioned, and then he said, I've never thought of it like that before. So my invitation is for people to join me and meet me in the middle of the river and in the field. And we do sort of have to let go, or at least be open to the doing and the clinging in
Yes,
order to access this
the stillness.
this
Well,
stillness.
Simone, thank you so much for sharing because most of the time people I notice with my work right now, holding transformational retreats, I notice that people will only do the pause when they are already in the break, when it's like a dark night of the soul, or it's something that life already kind of brought them to a space where
Right.
there's no chance to do but just to
Mm,
feel something like that. And
mm,
from that space, that's when they fully surrender and
mm,
discover a change, you see. And so
mm,
interesting what you said about the middle, because the middle is like uh the field. And I'm just curious, like what are your daily flow, as I can share with, because most of the people, as you said, are always in the doing, are always in that
mm,
space, because we were
mm,
wired to in the olden systems, right? Like
mm,
the mind would always say, oh, you can't survive, in this realm if you don't produce so much or perform so much. So what has been your guidance or your messages that allowed you to really prioritize tapping into your middle, to the heart, going to the heart space. Can you share a bit more of that wisdom
Mm,
for us?
thank you. Thank you. I really hear you on that. And I'd love to just speak to that in my response and say that you said, in the old way we were told you have to, and you were tapping your head, survive. And I
Yeah.
think what happens is when we drop into this field, into the heart, whatever that is, you feel it. It's a felt sense. We move from surviving to thriving because we're
Mm.
not in that panic mode.
Yes.
Um, and it's funny, when we introduce ourselves, we never sort of say, "Hi, I'm Simone," but the hand automatically goes to the center of the chest. There's the middle again.
Mm.
And I had this beautiful sort of spontaneous vision the other day, nothing to do with religion, but I thought,
Uh-huh.
if I stand and my arms are outstretched, the intersecting point of me between my vertical and horizontal plane is the middle of the chest.
Okay.
It was the middle of me, the center of my being. It was so beautiful. It's like, oh, it's right there. It's already there.
Yeah.
Um, and what you were saying earlier around an event almost stopping us and forcing us into surrender, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's an outside in approach. And I was saying to someone the other day, to me, peace is an inside job.
Yeah, it is an inside job.
It starts, how can I look out there and say, stop fighting until I am at peace and off the battlefield in here?
Mm.
And so, yeah, I just wanted to say, I think it becomes the only way. I feel like everything out there I'm coming to see is a reflection.
Of
So it
you.
must start here. Yes, otherwise we're in reactivity, because when an outside event is triggering it, it means that if an outside event triggers any response, I'm at the
Mm.
behest of that. Whereas the frequency setting starts here. That's where I calibrate. And
Yeah.
then that radiates, or I mean, we're all energetic. So this is constant. And my day, it's so interesting. I think you and I were having a conversation briefly the other day, and I said, I really get why people can, access this field so much easier in a remote village somewhere immersed in nature. Because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I'm a mum. I'm currently the daughter of a beloved father who is in a very delicate and huge situation, and holding space and supporting my mum through that. And I have two young, beautiful souls, children with my partner, and running a house. And um, there is a lot of doing, but the quality
Yes.
of the doing comes from this relaxation,
Yeah.
this centered frequency, and the quality then changes the way I do it. And I very quickly can see when I'm out of that alignment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stress can very easily come in. So it's active relaxation. We still have to do what we have to do, but the quality is so different. That's some of the work I'm doing with people. So it yeah, it really changes how the doing gets done, and the
Mm.
efficiency and the ease with which it gets done. Because for right now, I'm not living in immersed in nature, and so how do we create that in here?
Yes.
Often people will get really stressed, almost like on this barometer, and then they'll go on a holiday and then they diffuse it until
Yes.
they come back and then they say, I need another holiday.
Yes.
And I'm really interested in how do we create that sense of holiday every day in here,
Yes.
in
Yes.
or being in nature in here, whether we're in a high-rise apartment, because life doesn't always look like how we imagine.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, thank you. Well, you're right, because nature is already like I remember when I was still staying in the city, Simone, it was the same. Like I had my own sanctuary inside the house just so I can it was just like a very natural thing to to do or to be at that space. But I understand that when you're not in nature, the buzzing in the city is so fast. The vibrations there are very fast, and it really takes a lot of awareness and consciousness to slow down and
Mm,
continue stabilizing and anchoring that frequency
mm,
in a space wherein yeah, it's really an internal work. That's what it is.
yeah,
And
yeah. Internal
yeah.
play. We make it fun, but it's very true, isn't it? There is accelerated intensity, and I think particularly at this time in the world, I don't know if you feel it too, Christine, but it's like the old is leaving and the new is rising, and sometimes, like in chemistry, that can cause friction
Yes.
while things shift and morph and change.
Yes. Yes. I can really, really sense it so much that I noticed that there's something very new that is unseen, that is being
Mm,
given birth right now. And it's fascinating to witness and to be immersed in it. And at the same time, I'm also witnessing the old dense world kind of just trying to survive in a way, the
mm,
conversations because right now we're working with putting up a multidimensional school, and the people who resonate in our field are really those who are ready to becoming
mm,
multidimensional. And
mm,
so I noticed, yes, there is a practice there, to stabilize and anchor your words, your thoughts to the new energy, which is of love and joy. And of
mm,
course, the fear based programs somehow trying to kind of have a different perspective. So the situations are lighter, kind of thing, and being seen
mm,
in the eyes of love already. So that's what I feel is happening simultaneously with the world uh right now in this now moment.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, that you have a gift of really feeling, Simone, and I noticed that many people wants to feel, and we have been numbed for eons. You see, we have been so disconnected with the heart. So I'm just curious if what can you share as a like for those people who want to tap into the heart space or to the frequency, because you're sensitive, you have a gift already, natural gift. But for those people who really wants to tap into the heart and I
Mm,
don't know where to start, like
mm,
how can I be in that field, Simone?
mm, mm, mm. Well, I'm just going to straighten up because I can answer that physically. If we just put our hand
Uh-huh.
in what feels like the center of the chest and just even noticing temperature,
Temperature. Okay.
temperature, any sort of sensation or tingling, and it might not be there if it's brand new. But this is like the handshake, the extension of the handshake when we meet with someone, perhaps in a more formal setting. This is the introduction. So if that feels good, some people are less, you were saying they don't feel so clearly, so
Mm.
maybe less kinesthetic at taking in information. They might enjoy the imagery of the elevator going from the penthouse, seeing themselves as a little version, traveling down from the head, past the throat, and landing on the heart floor. And even if it's just for a few seconds, just to notice, maybe nothing initially, just to notice. And then, wherever it's enough for someone, they might catch the elevator back up, or they might choose to hang out on the heart floor. But that's one doorway. The heart is a portal. The heart is a portal, and in the work that I do, we deep dive a little more into accessing the field. But as an introduction, just becoming acquainted, even the act of putting a hand on the heart centers, a meeting point of a new area of ourselves. And the best thing I could say is to stay curious,
Mm.
because
Yes.
curiosity is open like a child with wonder and discovery. And as we've been saying in this conversation, what's unfolding in the world right now is new. And this is new. This is like the doorway to the new. So the mind is so used to getting involved and narrating, but it's like a doorway to the unknown, and that's where all the jewels are and all the love. So yes, just sips of stopping, pressing pause on the production, whatever resonates for people that are new to it, or visiting this heart floor. Just little sips,
Mm.
and then eventually it builds into this river, this reservoir of peace.
Wow. Thank you so much. I felt it, when you said from the elevator, from the mind going down. I felt it a lot, and I felt tingles, and yes, it gives me this feeling of calmness after, as you even share it. So I feel your expression really takes me to a space of safety. Uh, takes me to a space of opening that heart, you see. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And it's beautiful what you said about safety. I was going to say, the more that I deep dive into this, the less personal it feels, that I am this person with this gift, or it just feels like something coming through and just feels very natural to share. and the safety of letting go or coming into that middle. I've never
Mm-hmm.
felt more held than in the center. And that
Mm-hmm.
can sound a bit esoteric at the moment, but as you said, it's a felt sense. And just to maybe get curious. If I've planted a heart seed of curiosity, then that's wonderful.
Mm. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
And one other thing, some people, the heart can be felt through the back.
Ooh, okay.
Like a swinging door, even sometimes.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
we forget that we are. Well, you and I both resonate with multidimensional self,
Yes.
and
Uh-huh.
but we forget that we're this full being, and there's a back as well.
Beautiful. Well, I'm curious, Yvonne. My last question is, okay, what is multidimensionality for you? What is that? Like, let's just share to me what is it for you?
Hmm. It's so funny you asked that because about 5 minutes ago I wanted to say, Christine, what does multidimensional mean to you? You must have been picking that up. Uh,
Yes.
it's so interesting. There's the trap of language again. And it's ironic because I've studied Shakespeare as an actor, and to me, multidimensional is unlimited. It's our most expanded, elevated self that
Mm,
transcends time, space. It goes beyond the edges.
yes.
And in that field we were talking about and getting to know more of our multidimensional, or whatever that word is for people, the intelligence is so vast, far beyond our sort of limited personal thinking mind, because it's universal.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that we all have access to that.
Mm,
And that's the meeting in the field again, and the shared humanity, because it's who we are.
right.
It's who we all are. And some of us discover that, or are ready, or are open to discovering that at different times. Who's to say when?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say it's our unlimited, absolute highest potential self that is connected to everything and everyone. How is it for you?
Yes, it really resonates what you said about it, and it's exactly like this is the vessel, and we are a spirit that can, can navigate different dimensions, different aspects of ourselves, and we are here to really have a conscious understanding of our potentialities. Exactly what you said. There's a feeling of coming into a space of being unlimited, being more expansive in the heart space, even because this is the portal for that space, and understanding what does it take so we can bring this to this life, you see, to this
Mm,
earth,
mm,
something like that, because um most of the work that we do is really
mm,
inner journeys, and I realized that there's no one person really just have one life or one element. It's all different types of like elements coming in together in one unique expression.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
and it wants to express itself in this solidity, like we have a
Yes,
form, we can feel, we
that's
have
true.
senses.
Mm.
In that perspective, you see, in that
Mm.
perspective that, okay, I have a role as Christine in this lifetime. And at the same time, knowing that this is just a role, there is more than the
Mm.
Christine, there is more
Mm.
than the Simone
Mm.
in the now moment. There is
Mm.
this dance of different, um, so much so like elements and characters in one now moment expressed in love, because that's the absolute. So love for me is really like a wholeness kind of perspective where everything is included in
Mm.
the love, in the love frequency, in harmony. And
Yes.
so there's a, instead of seeing it in a space of quote unquote chaos, it's a dance. It's a
Mm.
dance. So when you see that in that perspective, it becomes unique and fun and exciting to explore, something like that.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that is multidimensionality to me personally, and I know there
Mm.
are so much perspectives there to explore. Each and every person holds a story,
Yes.
a story or a vibration that is
Mm.
yet to be explored. And it really depends on the readiness of the person and what it really likes to explore in this, with this, with this physicality and life. So that's for
Mm.
me.
Yeah, beautiful. I think it's so valid what you said about we are in physical form. I think
Yes.
times for me, I would feel the energy going up and out, where you're almost like out of body experience.
Mm-hmm.
And for my own journey, where that could sometimes feel natural,
Mm.
just to be, I would have people say, you are accessing multi dimensions. There's something very special about that. But what I needed to learn for me was how to ground it in the body, because
Yes.
we are here and it's allowing that to come through and be it, live it now, here. Not going to heaven, whatever heaven is as a concept, but how do we anchor that and represent that in this physical body? Because as you said, it's our vessel and it's
Yes.
so wise. It's got its own intelligence. It can create and birth life. I mean,
Yes.
there's no more advanced technology than that.
Mhm.
And I think that's been one of the most valuable lessons for me is how to honor and bring it into the body and share from there.
Yes. Yes. Agree. Totally. Yes. In fact, even your presence alone I can already feel that, you are living in this, in the middle, in the heart, because your frequency, the vibration that I'm receiving from you is so much potent in the heart space. That's how I say.
Mm,
So it's fascinating for me to understand your lens, you see, your perspective in life, and how you were able to, live it in this lifetime. So thank you for your expression. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. So do you have any last words that you would like to speak through the heart? Because the community that we have is an awakened community. And so, feel free to share from the heart what you have, you can share to humanity.
mm. I think it's a time where all these phenomenal light switches in the form of us are popping up all over the planet now. It's time. And I think I've used this word with you before, Christine. We use it together. Ripe. The
Yes.
time is ripe. The time is now. And it's fueled by deep love and humility for wanting to contribute to a happy, healthy planet as a parent and just as a custodian on earth. I feel
Mm.
like often we're visitors here and there's wonder to be discovered. And I have seen how potent I feel and what I can contribute when I am honoring the frequency and realigning, because I'm human like everyone. We can fall out, and we know, feel like had the image of a guitar string or a cello string when you pluck it and it goes on wow, 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 wow. And then it comes back to where? The middle, the center. So to your community, I'm so happy to meet you. I can't say what the future holds. I can just say that the frequency I'm experiencing feels very potent, and to just shine your light. I'm hearing it everywhere. People are
Yes.
saying now is the time to shine bright, shine the light. And when we fall, it's okay. That's the human dance. And we recalibrate and then we shine on. And if I can be of service in that journey for you, then I'm here.
Mm. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you, Simone. So, for those who wants to reach out to you, where can they go?
I'm very old school.
Okay.
So at the moment, email is best.
Okay. I'll put that in the link.
Okay, thank you.
Email. Yes.
Thank
For
you.
those who want to reach out to you. And
And just as an extension of the work, I think it was when some big wars were all happening simultaneously, I called them peace pendants. And it feels
okay.
like an extension of the love frequency that people can wear, non gender specific, it's just human
Wow.
heart.
Yes.
And so, yeah, if they're interested, I can, share that with you for your community. You can have a look and see
Oh, thank
what and
you.
if resonates. But just to shine, uh, we're all dancing each other home.
Great. Thank you again. And yeah, you have a great day, Simone, and continue shining your light.
And you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
Bye.